Hi Peaches, it's Shaaba, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. I hope you're well. You are absolutely correct if you have come here for another installment of fishing for a-holes. That is exactly what we're going to do today. If you might be a new little growing fuzzy peach here on the Shaaba channel, what that means is every week we dive right into the subreddit Am I the A-hole? One, because it's a little bit of fun. Who doesn't like a little bit of juicy drama? Two, to hopefully help some people out, including people who might not have posted but be dealing with similar situations to those in these posts. And three, most importantly, to hopefully expand our own mindsets a little. Which I know sounds like a bit of a cliche, but genuinely, that is why I do these. I think we can learn so much from the storytelling of others, and this is a fun little way to do that. So, without further ado, shall we see what Am I the A-hole has for us today? Before we dive right in, if I can kindly ask, if you haven't already done so, and you like what I do here on this channel, maybe you consider pressing the little subscribe button down there, or the little join button if you're feeling super fancy. No pressure, just let you know that the options are available, and someone in particular would really help me out. Am I the asshole for telling my brother that he didn't need to share that his wife was in labour in my wedding? I need to preface this with the fact that I've just finished watching House of the Dragon, the prequel show to Game of Thrones. It's very good, but it's very intense and there's a lot of birthing scenes, and so right now I'm like fiercely protecting mums. My wedding was days ago. My brother attended, but his wife didn't. She was nearing her due date to give birth and she didn't come. I hope that's not why you're upset, babe, because that happens. The wedding was going well until my brother received a call from his mother-in-law telling him that sister-in-law was in labour. I thought this was a bride, but it could also be a groom. How very assumptive of me. He told me he was leaving. My wife and I were fine with that, but the issue began after he told one of the guests that the sister-in-law was in labour. Word spread out and suddenly everyone was talking about it, which disrupted the event. I'm questioning what a kind of disruption would be. Surely that would be a celebration to be like, oh my goodness, you know, like this has just happened. Oh my goodness, a baby is coming. Like, can that really be disruptive? Oh, how wonderful. Oh, I hope she's okay. Oh, go, of course, go. You know? Even my parents started calling and there was a huge fuss, which frankly was unnecessary if my brother just left in silence or made up some excuse. I contacted him later and expressed my grief and frustration with what he did. I told him how the news of his wife being in labour disrupted the wedding and caused my wife to feel like her day was ruined. Okay, this is definitely a bridezilla moment for me. So let me get this right. Your brother got a call during the wedding. Oh, so which part of the wedding? Do you know what I mean? Because if this happened at the reception, what do you think everyone's talking about for the rest of the day anyway? After the ceremony, where people do need to, you know, be quiet a little bit and pay attention to what is happening, because that is your moment, you are getting married. For the rest of the day, they're not all just talking about you the entire time. They're allowed to have conversations. Everyone's catching up and getting to know other people. That involves talking about what's happening in the world. So to say that the day is ruined is honestly super dramatic, and I'm struggling to have sympathy right now. Is this the Game of Thrones coming through? Is this just me being a reasonable person? I don't know. Your call. The only time where I can understand where bride and groom are coming from is if literally during the middle of a quiet ceremony his phone went off, as in the father-to-be. It made a huge disruption and he just went, I'm having a baby! Everyone stop what you're doing! And then left. Then I would understand how that would have, you know, ruined the vibe of the ceremony. But even you say that he told one guest, what? You can't make up an excuse. Oh, let's just read on. He lashed out asking how any of this was his fault. I explained how he should have just left or made up some excuse to leave, but he said he didn't mean any harm and that he was in a hurry and worried about time. As you would be. I think it's such an honour that he even came to the wedding seeing that the wife was so, like, to the end. He said it wasn't like he announced it and told me I disrespected him by arguing with him about it. We had a big argument and our parents sided with him and told me to get over myself and are now expecting me to apologise. You should apologise, because sweetheart, you are the asshole. I get it. You didn't mean any harm. But guess what? Your brother didn't mean any harm either. I get it. You would probably, because you seem concerned at your wife, but it's also your wedding too, you know? You were both thinking, wedding, high pressure, fantastic day. But something that I really wish that all brides and grooms knew about when they went into their day and just kept in mind is that it's gonna be the perfect day because you guys are there celebrating your love with the people around you who are closest to you. Nothing else matters. If things don't go exactly how you envisage it, it doesn't mean that it's not perfect. If someone's having a baby, surely that's a wonderful thing. It's an extra reason to celebrate on your special day. It's not like the baby timed it. It's not like the mother-to-be can cross her legs and be like, no, babes, carry on. You do your ceremony. I'll just wait until tomorrow and then I'll pop this little fella out. You know, it doesn't work like that. There is no point in getting so upset about it. And you know who really ruined the day? It was you guys, because that's all you could think about. And for the rest of the day, you were stressing and getting annoyed at someone instead of really absorbing the love that you guys had in that moment. Anyway, I'm hoping this was a retrospective ruin and it wasn't something that you guys were like really huffing and puffing about on the day. I'm certain you guys were able to just have a little moan if that's what you wanted to do, and then get on with your first dance, get on with your cake cutting, get on with celebrating with the rest of your loved ones around, with the excitement of knowing that a new little squish has joined your family and you'll get to see them really soon. Is it just me? I don't know, maybe I'm being too harsh. I'm trying to explain why it was an arsehole-y thing to do. It's not that person's fault that they were a dad. They are entirely entitled to tell the whole room if they want to as they're leaving, so excuse me, I'm gonna be a dad, so excuse me, I'm gonna have a baby. Like, that's fine. It doesn't ruin your wedding, it doesn't make them a bad person, and you should definitely apologise. I hope the forum agrees with me. This is a wonderful thing about these forums, right? That's honestly why I love Am I the Arsehole? I really hope that you can see the other side of it, with everyone being like, you know what, this is okay, and maybe this is why you're wrong, and you can be like, you know what, wood from the trees, I get it. And bam, magic. Family feud fixed. Let's see. You are the arsehole. What was happening to your brother was completely out of his control, significant and scary. To ask him to conceal that in the moment because it stole focus from you is utterly narcissistic. It's self-centered. I definitely think we need to be careful when we use words like narcissistic, which is like a diagnosable something, but right now in the moment, I think with the elevated pressure of a wedding, it's certainly very self-centered. I'm guessing if his wife was in a horrible car crash and medevaced to the ER, you'd want your brother to keep his mouth shut too. You owe everyone in your family an enormous apology. You know what? It's a very extreme example, but it's true. You know, if something else was happening to someone else, they're very entitled to share that as they go away. I'm very thankful that this context, the example popped here, was not the case, because then it would have caused a nasty buzz around your wedding. But you know what? It was a perfectly happy one. A baby is coming. That's so exciting. Let's celebrate even more. Now the baby can't celebrate any birthdays because he'll ruin OP's anniversary. Oh, the nerve. The nerve. The baby's obviously at false here. Selfish jerk. Couldn't even wait until the wedding to be born. What an arsehole. Okay, you know what? I've never seen this level of sarcasm on an Am I the Arsehole post before. It gets the message across, maybe not in the nicest way, but I see what I see. But actually, I think it's cute if my wedding anniversary was shared with my niece or nephew's birthday. Isn't that adorable? What a special day. Exactly. Double whammy of a celebration. You know what that means? Going forward, 2 cakes. That's pretty cool. Should we move on to another, my loves? Am I the arsehole for agreeing to buy a house with my sister without telling my husband first? My sister asked me if I wanted to buy a house together, as she wants to own a property before marrying her fiancé. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds a little bit odd to me. I mean, fair enough if you want to own a property by yourself, but to feel that you then have to go in with someone else before you then marry the person that you're supposed to commit to and, you know, very traditionally do this stuff with anyway, I do find that a little bit odd, but that's fine. I'd just like some more context. I'm not judging. It's something we discussed often after we graduated. I still think it's a good idea for us to buy something together for multiple reasons, so I said yes. Okay. Fair. If it's something that you've discussed before, you had a plan in place, who am I to say anything? We looked at a few properties online just to get an idea about what we both liked, but we haven't done anything else to actually buy a house besides discussing it. I hear that you haven't done anything. I hear that you're just looking, but you've also said yes, right? So from my understanding of that, you have committed to buying a house with your sister verbally. So it's not that you haven't done anything. Like that first step is quite a big step, right? And from the title, I'm assuming husband has found out and is upset and you're like, oh, but I haven't done anything. But you said yes to your sister. Her fiance found out, as in the sisters, I imagine so, and he was angry about it, so he called my husband and completely exaggerated the entire situation. I was going to tell my husband myself eventually, but he's upset with me because he had to find out from somebody else. I mean, your fiance could have just said, go and speak to your husband like I've been speaking to my fiance. He didn't have to go tattletale, but okay. We keep fighting over it, even though I don't think it's something worth fighting about, as I was always going to tell him before we got serious about buying anything, and he's the one who always says it was good for me to have my own assets. Am I the arsehole? Interesting. Right. What I'm hearing your frustration, OP, is you're saying, but you told me to do this. Of course I was going to tell you, but it's something that you would have agreed with because we'd had discussions about this. So why are you mad? But what I'm hearing from what you've accounted with your husband is he's upset that you didn't tell him before you took this step. I don't think he's mad. It doesn't sound like he's mad at the actual decision. He's just mad that you didn't consult him at square one, which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, if I was a husband, like the partner, a married partner, I would expect to be told these things. And I say husband as if that makes a difference, you know, like because marriage makes a difference. It actually doesn't. If I was in a long-term committed relationship, with someone, yeah, I would expect to be told these things because You, my partner, buying a property, particularly with someone else, doesn't just impact you. And obviously if it impacts you, I care about you and I want to know and I want to be able to help and just support, but it also impacts me. Because if you're buying a property with someone else, unless you're like super duper whooper duper rich, that's likely going to involve a mortgage, that's going to involve loans, that's going to involve changing your credit score, which in turn is going to affect ours, assuming that we're also buying something together, that we may already have something together, that we're going to take out extra finances of some kind together, which couples often do. You know, that's not an unreasonable thing to assume. So yeah, I would be mad too. I'm going to maybe say no assholes here. I'm stuck between no assholes here and everybody sucks here, but I know it's not an everybody sucks here. My point is, I don't know if the fiancé is an asshole for telling the husband, but I don't think he is. We don't know the context. I just don't think that this is an asshole situation. I'm going to say no assholes here. It was an unfortunate mistiming of communication. Ideally, you'd have said it sooner, but I don't think it warrants calling you an asshole. That is my thinking. Do you agree, Peaches? Let me know downstairs in the comment section. Let's take a look what the rest of the forum had to say. You are the asshole. This is a major purchase that's going to affect him, not just you. I agree, but it sounds like you guys had already spoken about it. That's why I don't think you're an asshole, because you would have told him anyway. Maybe I'm being too kind? I don't know. If you had said boyfriend, I'd say you were not the asshole, but you said husband, and that means, yeah, you are the asshole. I personally don't quite understand the distinction between the two. I mean, I understand the distinction between a boyfriend and a husband, but I don't understand in this situation why it would be treated differently. I understand that civil partnership can mean that what's my property is your property and therefore legally there's a difference, but I still think that if you're in a committed relationship, even if he was just a boyfriend as opposed to a husband, he'd have a right to know. Because you're still sharing finances. You can still buy a house 50-50 with someone. You can still have mortgage with someone that you're not married to. I understand this comment if the assumption is that boyfriends are short-term flings and husbands are the long-term commitments, but not everybody gets married. I think that's an important thing to highlight. And just remember, this cannot be understated. Husband, spouse, you're the asshole. Boyfriend, girlfriend can go fly a kite. Dumb decision, OP. You realise it doesn't matter if you're going to tell your spouse, you should have discussed it with him prior to agreeing to it. Someone else then commented and said, I've been with my boyfriend for decades, we have 4 kids, would still appreciate if he first talked to me before buying a house. Thank you, extra commenter. That's exactly what I mean. Shall we do one more? Let's do one more. Am I the asshole for wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt to my first meeting with a girlfriend's parents? Interesting. I, 28-year-old man, have been dating my girlfriend who's 23 for a few months. Things have been going well, we get along so far, really care about her, hope things work out. Cute, cute, cute. She recently invited me to come over and have dinner with her parents at their home. She still lives with them for now. We're getting more serious and they wanted to meet me. If it's relevant, her parents are Indian immigrants to the US and I am white. Based on the title, I'm not gonna lie, I'm confused as to why this has been pointed out, but maybe it's more relevant to the story later on. Let's see. So I thought it was a completely casual meeting and I wore an Iron Maiden t-shirt. I do happen to like the band, but that's not why I wore it. That's just how I dress, and that shirt happened to be clean that day. I went and met her parents and thought we'd had a good meeting. However, my girlfriend is not happy with me. She feels as if me dressing in a t-shirt rather than a nicer button-up shirt was bad enough, but to wear a shirt with skulls on it was, in her words, just obnoxious. I honestly just dressed for the meeting the way I usually do, and I didn't even think about it. I think that if she had certain standards, that she should have communicated them to me beforehand, but she thinks that what I did was obviously stupid and inappropriate, and that I should have known better. Is she right? Or is she being too critical? Babe, you're not the arsehole. I do not see you as being the arsehole here at all. And here are my reasons why. Number 1, come on guys, it's 2023. In today's society, why... I still don't understand the need to point out the Asian white biracialness of this relationship. But seriously, why are we stressing what people are wearing? If that's what you wear, that's what you wear. I would rather that you came as you are to meet my loved ones, whoever they may be, parents, friends, everybody who is important in my life, because that is a reflection of you. I more worry about the words that you say and the way that you acted as opposed to what's on your body. I mean, obviously there are lines, right? The lines being, don't wear something totally... Don't wear something that has a really inappropriate or slanderous or discriminatory symbol on it. Don't come nude. You know, unless it was to a nudist colony, I would accept that to be arseholy in this situation. But an Iron Maiden t-shirt, just because it has skulls on it? Come on, babe. Like, I don't get it. I feel like this is totally unnecessary. To an extent, I can understand where it's coming from, in the sense from the girlfriend. She's stressed out about it. Maybe there are other things that she didn't like, and this is what she's reporting back to you. She's like, oh, why did you wear that? because maybe the parents then reported back to her that you weren't as serious as they were expecting or whatever. Hang on, I also think the context of where you met is important. Dinner with her parents at their home. It's not like you were going to a fine dining restaurant. You were going to their house. I don't know. Where she also lives and where you've, you know, seen her house and her before, just not her parents. This is just not ringing well right for me at all. I have an Iron Maiden t-shirt. I would not think twice between wearing that and a different kind of t-shirt to a meeting with Jamie's parents back in the day. I'm pretty sure the first time, hang on, what was I wearing the first time Jamie's parents saw me? I actually can't remember the top that I was wearing, but I do remember my fashion back then, and it was absolutely either very baggy tracksuit bottoms or tiny, tiny, tiny black shorts with one of those super gothic metal studded belts, a very psychedelic coloured pair of tights with fishnet tights over the top. That's how atrocious my fashion sense was. Granted, we were also 17 and you were a 28-year-old man, but the fact that you're 28 actually has nothing to do with this, because if you enjoy wearing t-shirts of the band that you like, go for it. Okay, let's see what everyone else says. You are the asshole. Because you're an adult, meeting someone's parents generally isn't an overly casual thing unless they specify that the parents are casual as well. Since when is that a rule? Surely you own a nicer shirt than an Iron Maiden t-shirt, being an adult and all. I don't know. I disagree with this wholeheartedly. Just because you're an adult doesn't mean that you can't wear t-shirts. And having a dinner at their home is not going to a fancy restaurant. I would honestly say if there was no dress code, that doesn't matter to me, especially with guys' fashion. Do you know what I mean? Like, wear a t-shirt with smart trousers, or even like a really nice pair of jeans, and even if it were designer trainers, or you know, like a nicer pair of shoes and like a beat up pair of Adidas, a t-shirt can look perfectly acceptable. I don't get this. I've read research to say it takes 7 subsequent good impressions to make up for a bad first impression. OP has some work ahead of him, except he seems to have shown that he doesn't want to put in any effort. OP, you are the asshole. At 28, you shouldn't need advice on this. The message you sent was that you didn't care what your girlfriend's parents think, which by extension says that you don't care overly very much about your girlfriend. Please do some serious reflecting. How are people reading this from a t-shirt? He went to your house to have dinner with your parents. He didn't seem to act in a horrible way. He said that he thought it went well. Why is my opinion so different? Have I missed something here? Maybe it's because of the job that I'm in. Maybe it's because of the people I surround myself with, and we just wear whatever the hell we want, wherever we want. To work, to socialise, to meet other people's parents. Is that what it is? Are other people just like so stuffed up in suits most of the time that they're really bound by these very rigid rules? If so, I'm so sorry for you, because that sucks, you know? Focus on other things. Have fun in your life instead of complaining about t-shirts. Oh, I'm sorry, went a bit around there. You are the asshole. Try to put a bit more thought into your attire when meeting people for the first time, especially a girlfriend's parents. She didn't need to communicate her standards. You need to address your standards. Don't blame her for your lack of them. It's all on you. I totally disagree. Number one, if somebody has expectations or standards, they should communicate them to you. If this is the first time that you are meeting someone's parents, and assuming you wear t-shirts all the time, as you said, you always wear t-shirts, it's just the one that happened to be clean, and you put it on, it is up to someone else if they expect something different to your expectations. No one, it's not even like just men towards girlfriends. That's just typically where people think, you know, like, oh, I'm not a mind reader. But seriously, no one is a mind reader. If you want something, you ask for it. Let me repeat that because it's very important. If you have an expectation, communicate that expectation. I used to be that idiot. I was the one being like, oh, but I don't want to tell him. I just want him to know that this is what I want. Why would he know if you haven't communicated? This is the bullshit that we learn from outdated rom-coms of failed romances that inevitably end in breakups. No, healthy relationships require communication. It's as simple as that. And number two, the reason that you are not the asshole, totally not the asshole, is because this is you. If they want to see you, this is how you present, this is who you are. Why should you change for someone else? If you go into someone's house to meet them in a very candid situation, be yourself. If you don't wear button shirts on the daily, don't wear a button shirt just to try and please someone. Unless the context demands for it, and in my opinion, I don't think this one does. I don't think you're the asshole. Everyone else seems to disagree. Do you disagree? I'm really interested to know about this one. I feel like I've disagreed with the forum a lot today. Anyway, I will love you and leave you for now. Let's continue discussion downstairs in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'm looking confused because I'm confused as to why I'm so disagreeable in this video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye!